best way to think about a website like YouTube is actually like a mall food court. There's all kinds of different shops and all kinds of different channels to check out, lots of content to enjoy. And it's all kind of fleeting, you know. It's not premium quality, I guess, right? And when I was a kid, the mall food court I used to go to all the time had a Panda Express and a Taco Bell right next to each other. And I used to dream about taking the General Tso's chicken from Panda Express and putting it in a quesadilla from Taco Bell. And then one day I did that, and it was not good. And that is kind of my exact relationship with YouTube. I want to eat the General Tso's quesadilla. I want to consume as much content about my particular interests as possible. But then I start to feel really bad. I start to feel overloaded. I start to feel burned out. And I start to feel lazy. Got your quesadilla. You put your chicken on it. And you take a bite. Is that good? Yes. Unquestionably good. Should I be eating this? No way. So this is my desk. One of the things I've noticed about YouTube is that when you go down a deep enough rabbit hole, the site eventually just becomes different people talking about what their desks look like.
A desk setup.
My tech and desk setup.
This desk setup.
I want to run through a couple of the most common types of YouTube content that you will find when you start to hit the layer where everyone's just talking about their desk. So I've noticed that it's a lot of people who love Apple products, which, you know, I love them too, but not enough to clear out all of the stuff from my desk to make them look pretty. I noticed a lot of people who love the organizational app Notion tend to be really big into organizing and optimizing their lives. I've noticed this a lot with people who are really into notebooks. There's like a whole corner of YouTube just about using a notebook, which is really boring to describe and honestly pretty boring to watch too, but it is very pleasing. The question is, why are these things so pleasing to look at? Digital video has been around for, let's say, 2 decades at this point. And we invent new genres of digital video all the time. ASMR is a fantastic example. If you were to describe ASMR to someone from 100 years ago, they would think you were crazy. I would say if you tried to describe ASMR to someone now who had never heard of it, they would also probably think you were crazy. And I think that there's an ASMR quality to these kinds of videos that I'm talking about. We want to see people over-organize themselves because we know that we can't. It's funny going through old stuff, especially boxes that you packed so long ago you can't remember what's inside of them. For instance, this box I packed up in 2020. It was not a good year for me, probably not for you either. And I honestly have no idea what's in here. Ah, that's exciting for YouTube. Bank statements. What's in this one? Let's see. Oh, okay. A Nintendo GameCube with none of the cords required to make it work. Oh, and a Sega Genesis. And a Sega Dreamcast. Look at that. The thing is, I have never been organized. I'm not an organized person. I will never be an organized person. I'm extremely sentimental. I don't think I'm a hoarder necessarily, but I do tend to impose a lot of emotional value on objects just simply because they're around me for too long, which is, yeah, that's how I end up with a Nintendo GameCube. But because I'm not an organized person, and because I am the kind of person who would keep a almost 30-year-old video game console even if I can't use it anymore, means that I am particularly at risk for falling down a very specific kind of YouTube rabbit hole, which on its surface isn't malicious. But the way it makes me feel after watching too many videos like this can put me in kind of a bad place. And I think it says a lot about how freely we allow social networks and user-generated content platforms like YouTube to impact the way we feel about the world around us, but also our own lives. One thing I've noticed about YouTube is that it tends to feed into insecurities. What might start as a fun video rabbit hole to go down slowly becomes an all-consuming drive to basically over-optimize your life. And obviously, all YouTubers probably who are doing this have some messy corner just off screen, which, no one is allowed to see. I'll show you mine. Look at that. There's all my mess. You're gonna find all kinds of people recommending stuff for you that's expensive or useless or cool, but kind of niche. I wanted to find a way to get slightly more organized, so I went to Target and I bought some of these for my cords and chargers. But it's not just the ASMR quality about this or the aspirational elements about this that really catch our eye. It's the fact that all of this is reinforced by a nested series of monetization levers that live inside of YouTube. So YouTube obviously is a massive archive of video content. It's one of the oldest and biggest on the internet, and probably the biggest to ever exist. And the bigger the channel, the more likely that channel will put advertising inside their videos on top of the advertising that's running before or in the middle. Great example, King of YouTube Mr. Beast this month literally branded a mountain in Antarctica for YouTube content. God, we live in hell. YouTube is also one of the biggest and greatest archives of hobbyism that's ever existed. If you want to learn how to do anything, well, you might start at Reddit, and then Reddit might tell you what YouTube videos to watch. I went down this journey during the pandemic. I wanted to finally learn how to produce electronic music. I make all the music for this channel, so I don't have to worry about copyright strikes. And I went to YouTube. I found some great channels. I learned a lot about how the program Ableton works. And then I kept watching those videos. And after 2 hours of watching YouTube videos about the hobby, I suddenly realized that I'm not doing anything productive other than just gorging myself on kind of stressful aspirational content about a thing that I'm supposed to relax doing. And there are a lot of people who become kings and queens of their particular hobby and are, by all accounts, the experts on it. But they are first and foremost creators for YouTube. And that can have some interesting side effects, namely that their YouTube channel eventually becomes more about them optimizing for how to do their hobby better than actually doing the hobby. And that's where things can get really confusing. And it's in that way that YouTube starts to become a sort of simulacrum for reality, because it's not about doing the thing properly. It's about doing the thing in a way that's most visually interesting for the people on YouTube. I have found that the same forces that have brought me into YouTube and made me consume a lot of YouTube content and get really excited about something can also totally backfire and make me feel legitimately insane and burned out by a thing that I'm not even doing. I'm just passively learning about it. Now, obviously, to wrap things up here, the question is, would I start making this content if this channel got bigger? And you're damn right I would. Why not? It's kind of basic, but like I said, I'm not going to recommend anything to you here. If you like it, you buy it, whatever. But I think there's also a very important thing we're slowly forgetting about the internet, which is that it's not like TV or radio or newspapers or magazines or the movies, in the sense that it doesn't really cost anything to make something and share it with lots of people. Over time, large companies have tried to make it harder to do that.
So let's say my video did a nice, $10 per 1,000 views. I would have made $950,000 instead of $31,000. If I posted a normal average ass video and got paid like $3 per 1,000 views, a financial video that gets 1 million views and is like 8-10 minutes long can get paid more than this video.
They've tried to build tighter boxes to fit creators inside of, which they can slap ads on top of. And the urge to over-optimize what you're doing is part of that, because it's very easy to list all of the things on my desk and tell you it costs this much at Amazon and you can use the link in the bio to buy it and use my code or whatever to do it. But we need to remember that we don't have to do that. If you have a weird idea that's inside of you and you just really want to express it, as long as it's not, hateful or cringe, you should do it. And even if it's cringe and it doesn't hurt anybody, give it a shot. Next time you're eating a General Tso's quesadilla worth of aspirational YouTube content about whatever hobby it is that you've come to the site to learn about, ask yourself what you would do if you didn't have to optimize it at all. What would you do if you just wanted to sit down and relax and make something because it's inside of you and you don't really even care if it's good or not? You just want to sort of see what it looks like when it's done. And then ask yourself if you need a nice desk to do that, because I'm going to bet you don't. When I thought of this bit, I actually thought this would taste grosser. It was really good.